Hello everybody. So today we're going to walk you through getting started on Linux, and as you are aware that tomorrow we're going to have an online training on Linux that's going to be hosted by Shravan Doka and the head organizer Yash Popi and Kishan Raghu. So the prerequisite for this training is basically to have Linux installed on your machine first. Many of you guys might want to go for dualbooting, and some would rather use VirtualBox. So this is going to be a quick step to get Linux on your machine so you can attend the training for tomorrow. Okay, so first of all I would request all of you to download VirtualBox. So once you download that and install it, you'll be able to create a virtual machine, and then you can assign how much RAM you want to give it, how much space you want to give it, and then you can install your Linux on top of that. You can even install Windows or any other OS you want, but today we're sticking to Linux, and I'll walk you through the different distros, not through all of them, but a few of them. Most of you are going to be beginners, so I would be recommending Ubuntu or Linux Mint. Ubuntu, you see, you have different versions. The LTS stands for long-term service. That means it's going to have updates till a date, and then after that you're going to get a new version. So this one's a new 2004 LTS Focal Fossa, and we have Linux Mint here. You can download whichever version you want, whichever distro you want to. You can download Linux Mint or Ubuntu to get started. Both of them are beginner friendly, and many of you might want to get some flavors in your Ubuntu. So these are different Ubuntu flavors. So you have Ubuntu Family, and then you have Ubuntu here, Ubuntu Mate, just like you have Linux Mate. So all these are like desktop environments for the Linux. You have Ubuntu that uses KDE. You have Ubuntu Budgie, that's another desktop environment for your Ubuntu, but under the hood it's the same Linux, like it's Ubuntu. Okay, so you can download this one, 64-bit, and you got the Linux Mint. So today we're going with the Cinnamon one. We're going to download the 64-bit one, and you can also see here for the Ubuntu flavors you got Kubuntu, Ubuntu, Ubuntu Budgie, Ubuntu Studio, Mate, and everything else. So you can download Ubuntu or you can download Linux Mint. The installation is going to be pretty much the same. I'll walk you through the installation for Linux Mint. So let's go ahead and download this one. Okay. So once you have downloaded this, you can download it through torrent, or you can do a direct download on your browser. So once you have downloaded Linux Mint, you can download it either through torrent, or you can download it directly on your browser. For Ubuntu also it's the same, I think, but this one's going to let you download directly through your browser. So I hope you have already installed VirtualBox on your machine, and you have downloaded the either that you want to use, so either Linux Mint or Ubuntu. And you can see I already have one virtual machine here. I've already installed Linux Mint on it, and I want to go ahead and create a new virtual machine. So I'll walk you through this. I'll create new. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new virtual machine, and then I'll show you how to install your Linux onto it. So I'll just call it test, and the type should be Linux. If you're using Linux Mint, you can compare it to this one here. The operating system, it will show up like Ubuntu, but that doesn't matter. You can choose the version here. You can choose other Linux, or you can choose Ubuntu. It's going to be the same. I chose Ubuntu, just like that. The name can be anything you want. I just put test, and type is Linux. Okay. Even if you're using Ubuntu, make sure if you're using 32-bit or 64-bit, or even if you're putting the other Linux. Okay. So now it's asking you how much memory you want to allocate to your virtual machine. So if you have 4 GB, I have 4 GB of RAM on my laptop. So if you have 4 GB of RAM and you want to allocate 1 or 2 GB of RAM to your virtual machine, you have to know that when you're running it, 2 GB of RAM is gone. So make sure you don't have any applications running it on Windows that might be taking up much RAM, especially Google Chrome. So I'll just give it 1 GB of RAM for this one. The other virtual machine I gave it 1.5 GB, and I'll go ahead and click on next. If you choose fixed size, it's going to take, if you give it 20 GB and you choose fixed size, it's going to take up 20 GB. But if you do dynamically allocated, it's going to take up as much memory, as much storage that it needs until it grows to. So this you can see here. Just click next, and I'll give it 20 GB to be on the safe side. Great. Okay, so we have a virtual machine here that has no operating system installed on it yet. You can see base memory and everything. You can see this one that I've already installed. You can see the processors. I have 4 here. Okay, and video memory 108 MB, 138 MB. How are you going to set it for this one? You click on settings and you go to system, processor. I have 4 cores, so I'll just go ahead and give it 3 because I am screen recording at the same time. So display, you can increase the amount of video memory that you want to give, and then you go ahead to storage. So you can see this is a virtual hard disk that you created, and the difference here is that if you're doing dual booting on your machine, if you're going to dual boot on your machine, or you simply want to remove Windows and install Linux only, what you get to do is, once you got this ISO file, the Linux ISO file that you have downloaded here, you'll use Rufus, or you can use Win32 disk imager to put it on your USB, or if you have a DVD drive, you want to put it on a DVD drive, you can go ahead and do that, and that will make it a bootable device, so a bootable USB or bootable DVD. And when you boot your computer, your machine, you'll go into your BIOS and boot from that media and install it on your hard disk. So you're going to replicate this process a bit, like this concept. So this is going to get, this is a virtual optical drive. So it's as if you had plugged in a bootable USB or a DVD. So you choose create a virtual optical disk, and mine is going to, it appears here because I already have it, I already did it once, so you can add, and you can select Linux Mint, open, and you click on choose. Make sure that Linux Mint or Ubuntu, any ISO that you're going to use appears here, and go on and click OK. So you'll see here your secondary optical drive, Linux Mint or Ubuntu or whatever, it's going to appear here. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on stop. There you go. So you see the welcome screen for the installation to Linux Mint, and you just go ahead and click on that and press enter. And now you see that it will boot into a live desktop environment, so you can install Linux Mint onto the virtual hard disk that you have just created. So you'll just leave it like that to do its thing, and it will be up in any moment. Okay, so you can see here we got a very simple desktop environment here. You got a start button here, you got your terminal, Explorer. You can go around and play with that if you want. File system, trash, music, document, desktop. So you haven't installed Linux Mint yet. You're only on the virtual, on a live version of it. So you would want to go ahead and click on install Linux Mint. So this live version of it, so this live desktop of it is like, you can get used to it, and if you don't like it, you can just download Ubuntu or any other Linux that you want to install. So I'll choose English and continue. Here you can choose your keyboard. You can go for detect keyboard layout, but if you know it's US or UK, you can go ahead and click on continue. You might want to install third-party software for graphics if you're going to be using your Linux more, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave that unchecked. So here we basically have 4 options. Okay, so you can see the simpler one is erase the disk and install Linux Mint. So if you're dual booting and you have got into the Linux Mint installation, you'll see an option here. If you have Windows, like install Linux Mint alongside Windows, you get that even for like Ubuntu. But since I'm installing it on a virtual hard disk and there's no operating system installed on that virtual hard disk, you won't get that option. I don't even think you can do dual boot on a virtual machine. I never tried, but you can do that. That's simple. Or you can do like something else, and this will let you create partition and resize partition yourself. So here you go. You can see like you got this 20 GB hard disk, and then you want to create like, you can create a new partition table. But we're not going to do that because we're installing on a virtual hard disk, and this tutorial is only going to get you like quickly install Linux so you can attend the training, and you might want to do some research on your own, but I'll walk you through some here. You can see basically it's not just like installing root, home and swap partition for Linux. So let's go into images and find something useful here. So when you're installing Linux, you should install it like on 3 partitions. Here's one. Okay, so put double checkbox here. You can see you can put the home, the root, and then the swap. So what you're doing here is like, this is going to be your files, all your files are going to be in this partition, and this is going to be your swap partition, and that's where your Linux is installed. So this configuration will help you, like if down the road you have corrupted your Linux installation with a bad update, or during an update you just like got a power cut and something went wrong, you can just keep your home partition and delete your root partition and then install again. You won't be losing any of your files. So you can do that, even those who are jailbooting. So you can have 3 partitions: swap, home, and then the root. And if you're jailbooting, you would obviously be having your Windows partition somewhere in your hard disk. But if you're doing it on a virtual machine, you can do it like this: the root, home, and swap. But since we're going a bit quickly here, we'll just, let's close this browser here, and let me show you again. We'll click back, and we'll go with the simpler version. So erase disk and install Linux Mint, because we're using this virtual machine only for installing Linux, so you can get an idea how to install it on your machine, to follow the tutorial tomorrow. So install now, and you can click on continue. So this might take a while, so I'll pause the video and then come back. Okay, so you see it's going to ask you where your region is. You can choose anywhere you want, but you have to choose Mauritius. Click on continue. And then you put your name here, so I'm going to put UoM Computer Club. Okay, so I'll put that as Gish, and then I'll put it login automatically, but you still have to put a password, so I'll put it QWERTY. You do have the option of encrypting your home folder if you want to go with that, but let's not do that here, and click on continue. Okay, so just a basic installation window. It's copying the files. Yeah, you can see you have LibreOffice Writer, Calc, and Impress. So this is like the LibreOffice suite that you get already installed with Linux. Even if it's Ubuntu, even if it's Manjaro, even if it's Linux Mint, you're already getting LibreOffice in it. You don't have to go and install Microsoft Office Word for that. Okay, and as you can see, so it's almost finished copying files. So I clicked on skip for the language box because I might not need it. Okay, so as you can see, the installation has finished. So you should remember that we're still in this live environment of the Linux Mint, and as from this point, like if you're dual booting and if you're installing Linux Mint on your machine and you're dual booting, from this point on you can shut down from here. You can restart now, and when you're starting out, you can just remove your pen drive, your USB, or you can remove the DVD drive. So or you can click on continue testing, so you can still use this live environment if you want. If you want to install I don't know, anything you want to do. So we're going to click on restart now, and after that we have to remove. So we can click on restart now, or we can click on continue testing. I'll click on continue testing. Why? Because I'm going to shut down this virtual machine, and then I'll have to remove the installation media from the machine. So I'll go ahead and click on shut down. You can click on shut down here. So yeah. Okay, so you can see it's going to shut down, and you can go machine, shut down. So you can see close virtual machine, power off the machine. Okay, you can power off. Okay, so you go back to settings. You go to storage, and you click on that, and then you can just remove it. So you just have the virtual hard disk where you have just installed Linux Mint on. Okay, so you can see that there's only one storage here. There's no, you can't see the Linux Mint installation media. And then we go ahead and click on stop. this, you can see, you get the welcome screen, and you can resize it. I'll just click on that and close this. Okay, so you can, now you have already installed this Linux. You can just go into terminal. So okay, you can go into terminal. So from here you can install applications. You can just go online and find the command lines for installing applications, or you can go into software manager here. So we're basically running Linux for the first time after installing it on this virtual machine, and it only has 1 GB of RAM. So let's go into settings now. So okay, we can see system info is here, and remember I gave it 3 processors, so you can see only 3 processors and 1 GB of RAM, and the hard disk is 20. So that's for the system info. And here's the software manager where you can go ahead and install Chrome if you want. I think you'll get Chromium, or you can install Plank. Plank is a dock, it's a very simple dock, so you can customize your desktop any way you want it. Okay, and you can just go ahead and click on terminal if you want to do any updates. So you just do sudo -s, and then it will ask you for your password. Now you can just do sudo install. So just run this. If you're using Linux Mint and you're using Ubuntu, do this. If you're using Manjaro, you should do Pacman, and you should do that. Yeah, you should do that. But that's for Manjaro. It's another distro, so this one you should just do sudo. This will update, and press enter. It's simple like that. So it's going to start updating. You can update through here, or you can update through the software manager that we were in a second ago. You can use that, and I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that. So that's the okay. I'll shut down and show you the other. Okay, so I'm going to shut down now, and then I'll show you what you can do with the GNOME partition editor, the two-part live edition that you downloaded. So let's go and click on shut down. Okay, so let's go and click on new. I'll just that's going to be Linux, and then just click on other Linux 64-bit. If your machine is 32-bit, you should choose that. Next, I'll give it that much of memory. So I'm going to use this tool here, the two-part live edition. You can use the application inside Linux. I think you already have it installed, but I'm going to use a live edition. So if you're dual booting on your computer and then you want to do partition stuff, you should boot into this image first. Be careful not to format your whole drive, or else you're going to lose all your data, even on your Windows partition. You should split your partition. You should do that in Windows and shrink your partition, and then you can create new partition here. Oh, this is going to be a great recovery tool if you want. If you want to wipe a crop Windows partition off, I won't be installing. You can't install it, so it's just a live version. So you won't be needing virtual hard disk. You just go ahead and create, and then it's going to give you a warning. You just continue. So you have no storage here. You just click on new. This one's setting, and you go to storage. You go to the virtual disk. Click on select. Choose virtual optical disk. I'll click on add and gparted live. Okay. Choose. So I'll make sure it says gparted live here, and go ahead and click on start. Okay, so if you're booting onto it from your machine and not a virtual machine, so you won't be using this tool on a virtual machine. You won't be needing it. I'm just doing it to you guys can have an idea how to do it if you're doing dual boot, or there are other applications that you can use for partitioning your disk, and I would recommend you to use this one. It's a freeware. You can download it. It's easy to use. You can basically you can migrate an OS from a hard disk to an SSD if you install an SSD in the future, or you can even wipe the disk. You can create partitions, move partitions. You can even shrink. So if this is your Windows partition and it's 500 GB, you can shrink it and then wipe that one so you can install Linux on it. That's for people who are going to do dual boot. I'll still go ahead and show you. So this one's for people who want to do dual boot, and then I'll go ahead and show you. So let's just do not touch the key map, and then it's going to ask 33. That's US English. So just press enter. Don't change anything. And 0 continue to start executing. Just press enter again. So this quick little tool here, it's a great tool. So you'll see here that since I created this virtual machine here, there's no hard disk for it. And there's the only storage that there is since I have created another virtual machine here, and as you remember, there's no virtual hard disk for this virtual machine. There's only the optical drive, the virtual optical disk, which has the gparted live edition ISO. So this is a live environment here. You can go into gparted. I think it's here. It's minimized. So I think you can't resize it. Yeah, you can see there's no other storage here. There's only the virtual optical disk. Sorry, not the hard disk. The virtual optical disk here, and you can't really wipe anything. If you want to create new partitions, you can't do that because you only have this. But you're going to use this tool if you're dual booting. So you have a web browser, you have network configuration, you have screen configuration. Let's go to this one. Okay, so this one's great, but I won't be using this. So let's just power off here. I've just showed you how to use a gparted live edition on a separate machine. So that one didn't have any hard disk, so you can't really wipe anything. So I'll put it in this one. You could just go to settings back and then go to storage, and you can see, okay, we won't be needing this one. Just like we inserted like a virtual optical disk, you can go here and click on optical drive, and this virtual optical drive you're going to put the gparted live ISO in it. So it's going to be version of gparted. Okay, so click OK, and we'll go ahead and click on stop. So instead of booting into Linux Mint, you can see that the virtual machine is going to boot into gparted. So you see here, it's going to boot into gparted here. Okay. So you can see, since we have since we're running gparted, the live edition, on this virtual machine that has a virtual hard disk of 20 GB, and we have Linux Mint installed on it. So you can go ahead here and select. You have only one option. Okay, so you can see it's ext4 file system and 20 GB. And it's used 8 GB of it for the Linux installation. Okay, so if I were to click on delete the selected partition, the Linux installation in this virtual machine will be gone. So we already booted into this, and you have seen that it does boot into Linux Mint. So I'll just go ahead and click on that, delete it, and click on apply. So, and you can just go ahead and exit. So since we're in a virtual machine, you're using VirtualBox, you won't be needing gparted, but I only explain this part to people who are going to use dualboot. Management qui servent dualboot, c'est capable de servir gparted pour comme si delete partition qui est incorrect. Ok, alors you're capable de power off ça et to go back into settings, storage, and let's just remove this installation media. No, not installation media, but the external. Okay. So you can see this machine still has donc we have virtual hard disk à côté d'un Linux Mint là-dedans, et que tu cliques start, tu vas diffuser pas rien. So when we click on start, there will be nothing on the disk for it to boot to. You see, there's only the grub response. So if you can see HD0, and then there's nothing here. So we just deleted the partition. And then you're wondering, well, why is this grub here? So even though, if you remember that when we did the installation for the Linux Mint, there was like the option to create your own partition or erase the disk and install Linux. Basically what it did is, we have the Linux, the root, home, and everything in one partition, but you do have the boot partition, and that's where the grub is. Okay, so yeah. So basically, I think you can understand what we can do with the gparted live edition. So it's only 300 MB, so you can download it and keep it handy. So if you ever make some errors or mistakes while installing Linux and you just want to wipe off the partition, you got gparted live to do that for you. And if you do not have gparted live, what you basically can do is use the Linux installation media through Ubuntu or Linux Mint, and when you get into the live environment, you can just click on the menu and you'll see gparted there. So that's one way. That's one way where you can wipe the partitions. But I would recommend that you get the gparted live easier. So that sounds better. So that's it. I think I've already showed you how to install Linux onto a virtual box, create a virtual machine, and then install Linux onto it. And I think I have already walked you through the different flavors of Ubuntu, the different flavors of Linux Mint. You can get started with, I would recommend that you get started with Linux Mint, Cinnamon, or you can basically just go with Ubuntu. Some might recommend Manjaro, but as a beginner, I would say, if you're a beginner, I would say you should go with Ubuntu. Either Ubuntu or Linux Mint. I recommend for that. Okay, so I already showed you how to install Linux Mint onto your on VirtualBox, and also I've showed you how to use the gparted tool. So you can create partitions, delete partitions, or wipe hard disk. Okay. Also, I would recommend that you use this partition assistant on Windows, where if you have, for example, this and you're using only some space in it, so the rest of the space you can just shrink the partition, and then from that you get free space and you can create another partition. What I have done is, like, I have my Windows partition here. Windows can't see Linux partition, but from Linux you can access your Windows files. I have a bridge. I named it bridge. It's just a partition where I've stored to put like your lab sheets, your lectures, and everything. You can just put it here. So you got your lab sheets here. So you don't have to like go into your Windows partition. Some Linux can see Windows partition and can even enter, modify files, see files, and everything. No problem. Some you get a few problems. This will be easier. Even if you get a corrupted Windows or corrupted Linux, you still have your file partition here. And this is a partition assistant that I would recommend. Je capable de shrink un partition qui design là, c'est-à-dire pour le moment on pense c'est tout pour Windows qui peut être full et fait que modèle intera, j'ai 100 GB à un budget 800 GB libre. Je vous shrinkly, vous créez une autre partition, il est capable d'une free space aussi, et vous êtes capable même de mettre un lot, c'est-à-dire que ici je peux trouver, si vous open image new tab, vous pouvez trouver CDNI, vous êtes capable de prendre la partition là, move it there, vous êtes capable de prendre la partition là, move it here, vous êtes capable de faire interoperations aussi. Ok, alors je vous recommande qu'ils aient servi ça partition assistant là, et aussi je vous gagne beaucoup, je vous gagne beaucoup de forums, mais aussi le YouTube, je vous gagne beaucoup de vidéos how to use this, comment vous servir qui peut être. Ok, alors pour installation Linux Mint, for the installation Linux Mint, comment on fait les basically the same pour Ubuntu, mais nous faisons pareil que vous gagne erase disk for installation, vous gagne customized installation, c'est-à-dire que tu peux créer ton propre partition tout ça. Alors c'est capable à l'Ubuntu, si on vient desktop flavor Ubuntu, c'est capable à l'Ubuntu. Si on vient desktop flavor Ubuntu Budgie, c'est capable Ubuntu Budgie. Ubuntu c'est un Ubuntu qui vous sert desktop environment KDE. Ok. Alors, je peux checker online, je peux trouver dans différents catégories. Il y a beaucoup de flavors. Il y a sur Innoves, il y a Ubuntu ou Budgie. Budgie, il y a un. Budgie, bon, mais déjà c'est Budgie commencement. The first one I used was Ubuntu, basically, the version, plain Ubuntu. Then we say anti-WP, we say Ubuntu Budgie ici, Ubuntu Budgie ici, ok. Et là, c'était là beaucoup de support. C'était un support pour ça. Si il y a des problèmes, je peux rentrer au forum, je peux help. Ok? Je préfère servir le dualboot, mais si je veux manger tout le temps dans ça, mais tout simplement là, je préfère servir VirtualBox. Il va être plus rapide pour eux. Et ben, c'est qui me dit que quand on a 10 GB RAM, 24 GB RAM, là, je vous conseille de faire un dualboot. Faire une quick partition, rouler le YouTube, faire un dualboot pour qu'il, comme si c'est pas un problème quand je vais suivre le training là et en même temps je vais plus avoir une VirtualBox que je prends un time memory, surtout si je vais servir Chrome, que Chrome même prend pas de combien RAM. Alors si possible faire dualboot, si ça en vient une quick solution, faire un peu d'affaires claires là, c'est-à-dire que je gagne un overview, une idea comment je peux installer Linux ou une virtual machine ou bien on fait dualboot, je peux faire dualboot. Make sure si je veux faire dualboot, make sure qu'ils ont rodé online drivers issues et je n'ai fait une Google search at least pour les autres PC, c'est-à-dire sur computer, sur modèle, tout ça. Je n'ai fait une Google search que tu peux faire l'installation et là tu peux trouver qui tu finis connaître arrête qui te gagne driver issues pour sound ou bien pour ici là-bas et tu finis connaître comment fixer. Basically, il est assez easy. Finis tu as ce portable gardé à côté de toi pour faire un Google search vite si je te paye job. Ok? Make sure do not pas mess up the Windows partition. Pas d'un bon moment vous êtes faire là comment tu connais l'assignment et tout. j'espère qu'ils se réussi suivre un training là bien demain. Si j'ai besoin quick solution, c'est VirtualBox pour mon montrer. Sinon, je vais faire dualboot. Quand ce qui design à Maribon, je vais suivre training là demain. Je vais get started. Ok? So, aussi, nous, au niveau comme de club, nous devons travailler d'une façon, c'est-à-dire, il y a un service qui nous a assez providé demain pour le training là, qui, je pas pour besoin, maybe, je pas pour besoin, modèle service VirtualBox ou bien, si je vais dualboot, c'est bon même, mais c'est-à-dire on écran des autres Linux partition et puis je suivre training là, mais pour un qui pas dualboot et pour besoin service VirtualBox et je peux assez RAM, je trouve des lag, tout ça, nous devons travailler une affaire quand nous proposons un service pour demain. Ok, nous style de travail là, nous voulons dire nous demain même. C'est ça mon training là. Ok, mais j'espère que cette vidéo là est assez informative et inédite tout ça. Et dans encore une initiative comme des clubs pour amener, comment pour le moment de amener online training. 2 ans avant comme on dit year one, vous connaissez comme des clubs qui amènent Java training. En fait, il n'y a pas de Java mais ici problem solving training. Je me rappelle c'est la Popia, c'est la Tachil, c'est la M. Gavin qui peut faire. Ok, so ça c'est un projet comme des clubs fait. Nous amène Linux training. Nous avons encore des autres training sessions qui nous vont amener encore plus. Stay tuned to Computer Club. Ok, et merci beaucoup.